My name is Elaine Blanton, 28 years old. I ran my first marathon 11 days ago. 4 hours and 22 minutes. Slow compared to real runners. Fast enough to change my life. I didn't run for medals. I ran because my younger brother Owen died of leukemia 14 months ago at 25, and before he lost the ability to walk across a room without help, he made me promise him something. Elaine, he said from that hospital bed, smiling like he wasn't attached to 3 machines, run one for me. I laughed because I thought he was joking. I wasn't a runner. I was takeout food, streaming shows, sleeping until noon on Saturdays. The kind of woman who considered parking far from the grocery entrance cardio. But Owen waited for my answer, so I said yes. That promise changed everything. For 8 months I trained seriously. 5 days a week. Rain, heat, sore knees, shin splints. I bought shoes that cost $176 and nearly cried at checkout. Lost 23 pounds. Destroyed 3 pairs of socks. Got a blister so ugly in month 3. My foot looked diseased. Still ran. My boyfriend Ryan and I had been together a little over 2 years. He knew why I was doing this from day one. He sat beside me at my parents' dining table when I announced it. My mom cried quietly. My dad squeezed my shoulder. My brother's widow, Leah, smiled through tears. Ryan was there. He saw all of it. At first, he tolerated the training. Have fun running, he'd say in the same tone people use before dentist appointments. Not supportive. Not cruel. Just detached. Then something changed. Month 4. You're seriously running Saturday morning again? We could do brunch. Month 5. Normal people don't schedule their lives around exercise. Month 6. And then the sentence that stayed inside me, like glass. Your brother probably wouldn't want you ruining your relationship over this. I remember staring at him. Not yelling, not crying, just staring. Because he had taken Owen's name and used it like leverage over weekend plans. Please don't talk about him like that, I whispered. Then I went running. Around this time, Ryan started bringing up his ex-girlfriend more often too, not directly comparing us, just little comments. Melissa never woke up at 5 for hobbies. Melissa was more spontaneous. Funny how dead brothers and old girlfriends suddenly become weapons when people stop getting their way. 3 weeks before race day, everything cracked. We were eating dinner. I just told him my parents, Leah, and my best friends were coming. They'd made matching shirts with Owen's favorite quote on the back. The only finish line that matters is the one you're scared of. My mom had spent weeks designing them. Ryan barely looked up from his food. I'm not coming. I blinked. What? I'm not standing around outside for 4 hours watching people run. It's boring. I waited. Maybe he'd smile. Maybe this was sarcasm. It wasn't. I have better things to do. Better things than watching his girlfriend honor her dead brother. I looked at him for a long time. Then I said, "That's okay." He looked disappointed, like I'd skipped my part of the argument. Maybe he expected begging. Maybe it was a test. Choose me over this. Choose comfort over grief. Choose us over him. Instead, I washed my plate and went to bed. Race morning came. 5 a.m. cold air, shaking hands. Ryan kissed my forehead near the door. Good luck, like I was leaving for a dentist appointment. The race started at 7. Miles 1 through 15 felt manageable. Mile 18 hurt. Mile 20 broke me. My knees screamed. My lungs burned. At mile 21, I nearly stopped. Then I remembered Owen. Not healthy Owen. Hospital Owen. The version with hollow cheeks and weak legs. The version who once ran 3 marathons and later needed help standing. So I kept moving. I crossed that finish line, crying so hard I couldn't properly see. But I heard them. My mom screaming. My dad doing that loud 2-finger whistle. Leah holding a sign that said, "He's watching." My best friends jumping like idiots in those matching shirts. They crashed into me. Group hug. My mom sobbing. My dad crying. My father never cried. Not at funerals. Not at bad news. Not when Owen died. But he cried then. Leah grabbed my face. He would be so proud of you. And I completely lost it. Ugly crying, public breakdown. Didn't care, because everyone I loved was there. Everyone except him. An hour later, we were sitting inside Owen's favorite diner. Sweaty. Disgusting. Eating pancakes? My phone buzzed. Ryan, did you win? LOL. I stared at the message. Around me, my family laughed. My mom was taking photos for scrapbooks. Dad was telling strangers about the race. Leah was wearing Owen's memorial shirt. There was an extra race bib pinned to Dad's chair. Owen's old one. His seat at the table. So I took one picture. No posing, no explanation. Just family. Just joy. Just proof. Then I sent it. No caption. 4 hours later, he replied, "Looks like you had a good time." I typed back, "I did." And sitting there between cold pancakes and grief and pride, I realized something terrifying. Finishing 26 miles hadn't been the hardest part. Realizing who didn't show up was Wednesday evening, 3 days after the marathon. Ryan came over to my apartment expecting a normal night. I knew because he texted beforehand. Got Thai. They were out of spring rolls, though. Like we were fine. Like Sunday hadn't happened. Like the photo I sent wasn't a goodbye in disguise. He walked in carrying takeout containers, kicked off his shoes, leaned over to kiss me. I stepped back. His smile twitched. "What?" I took a breath. "I think we should break up." He set the food down slowly, not dramatically, carefully. Like if he moved too fast, reality would change. "What?" "I've been thinking since Sunday." "Because of the marathon thing?" He laughed nervously. "Elaine, seriously, it's not just the marathon." "Then what is it?" I looked around my apartment because it suddenly felt too small. The marathon just made something obvious. His eyebrows pulled together. "What?" "That the things that matter most to me don't matter to you." He sat on my couch immediately. Ryan always sat during arguments. Always made me stay standing. Always made me feel like the emotional one. "I can't believe you're ending 2 years over a race." "It wasn't a race." "Oh my God, Elaine." "It was for Owen." Silence. Then he made the mistake. "Your brother is gone. How long are you going to keep—" He stopped. Too late. The sentence already existed. "How long are you going to keep grieving? How long are you going to keep making life about him?" "How long am I going to keep what?" I asked quietly. "I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it?" His eyes watered. Mine didn't. Not anymore. Because grief does strange things. At first it makes you cry. Later it just makes you tired. "I love you," he said. I nodded. "I think you love the version of me from before." He stared. I continued. "The woman who slept in. The woman who didn't wake up at 5 to run. The woman who wasn't carrying grief everywhere. That's not fair. You couldn't stand outside for 4 hours for me." He shook his head. "You're making me sound horrible." I looked at him. For the first time. In months. Really looked. "No," I said softly. "You did that yourself." His face changed. Not sadness. Anger. "You're seriously throwing away 2 years." "You threw it away first." I walked him to the door. "I'll box your stuff." He slammed the door hard enough to shake a picture frame. Owen's picture frame? Of course, the next morning, his best friend's girlfriend called me. I'd met her, maybe 6 times. "Elaine, I heard what happened." "Okay." He's devastated. I stayed quiet. He says you're making decisions emotionally. I almost laughed. My brother died. Of course I was emotional. "You know what he skipped?" I asked. "The marathon?" "No, the last important promise I made my brother." Pause. Long pause. "Well, standing outside 4 hours is—" I cut in. Thanks for calling. Click. Friday morning, Ryan texted me 3 paragraphs. The short version: I weaponized grief. I manipulated him emotionally. He had boundaries around how he spends his time. Boundaries. Funny word. People discover therapy, vocabulary, and suddenly selfishness gets a rebrand. I ignored it. Saturday afternoon, my mom called. Sweetheart. Something in her voice made my stomach drop. What happened? Your ex-boyfriend is standing on my porch. I froze. What? He says he needs to talk. I was already grabbing keys. Mom stopped me. No, stay there. Later, she told me everything. Ryan knocked carrying flowers. Flowers. For my grieving mother. Mrs. Blanton, I'm sorry to show up unexpectedly. Mom thought something happened to me. Is Elaine okay? She broke up with me. I think she's making a mistake. Mom stayed quiet. I think she's still grieving and maybe not thinking clearly. My mother later told me that sentence almost made her shut the door immediately. Instead, she asked one question. Did you attend the marathon? No, but... Then I think she's thinking very clearly. Mom closed the door. Not slammed. Closed. Polite devastation. Then she called me. Do you want casserole? My mom solves every crisis with casserole. Breakups, funerals, celebrations, everything. Yes, I said. Then I sat alone in my apartment, staring at my phone, because something finally clicked. Ryan didn't only disrespect my grief. He believed grief made me easier to control. He thought if enough people pressured me, I'd come back. Parents, friends, anybody. And that realization hurt worse than the breakup. That night, I texted him one sentence. Do not contact my family again. This is not a negotiation. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, I'm trying to fix this. Stop acting like I'm a monster. I put my phone face down. Because monsters rarely think they are. And because deep down, I had a feeling he wasn't finished yet. I was right. A few days later, he contacted Leah, my brother's widow. And that changed everything. After my mom shut the door on him, I thought Ryan would finally stop. Normal people stop. People with shame stop. Ryan changed strategies instead. He stopped contacting people close to me, started contacting people around me. Thursday basketball friends, old dinner group couples, friends of friends who knew us as Elaine and Ryan, but didn't know what happened behind closed doors. His version was smart, dangerously smart. He never called me cruel, never insulted me. He played confused, heartbroken, concerned. She changed after her brother died. I tried supporting her. She pushed me away. To one person, he said, we broke up because he missed one running event due to a prior commitment. Prior commitment. That phrase made me laugh so sure then it made me angry. Then it just made me tired. I found out because one of my friends texted me. Hey, Ryan reached out to my wife. Something feels off. You okay? I called immediately. Gave the short version. Dead brother. Promise. 8 months. Marathon. Better things to do. Silence. Then, yeah. He definitely left that part out. Of course he did. But people talk. That was Ryan's mistake. Within days, multiple people reached out. Not accusing, just asking. And every conversation ended the same way. Oh. Or, that's messed up. Or my personal favorite. He skipped your memorial marathon and wants sympathy. Eventually, the outreach campaign died. Then he made the worst decision of all. He contacted Leah, my brother's widow. She called me at 10:07 p.m. Leah never called late. Elaine, she said quietly, I need to read something to you. Ryan had messaged her on social media. Long message, paragraphs, the summary. He understood loss. He was worried about me. He thought I was using running as an unhealthy coping mechanism. He hoped Leah could talk sense into me because I respected her. He told the widow of my brother that honoring my brother was unhealthy. For a second, I genuinely couldn't speak. Leah's voice shook, not from sadness, anger. What do you want me to do? I stared at Owen's medal hanging beside mine. Whatever you want. She waited, then laughed once. Cold. Okay. The next day, she showed me what she sent. Ryan, my husband died 14 months ago. He ran 3 marathons before cancer took away the ability to walk across a room. He asked his sister to run one for him because he knew he never would again. Elaine trained for 8 months. She cried crossing that finish line. I was there. Her parents were there. Her friends were there. You weren't. Not because you couldn't be. Because you chose not to be. And now you're messaging me, his widow, telling me honoring him is unhealthy. Do not contact this family again. We are done with you. I read it twice. Then a third time. Leah, I said, you missed your calling. She snorted. I prefer nursing. Ryan never replied. Never contacted Leah again. Never contacted my parents. Never contacted me. He disappeared. But consequences didn't. People compared stories. Mutual acquaintances talked, not because I started drama, because Ryan inserted himself into grieving spaces and expected applause. Eventually, everyone knew the truth. Not the edited version, the real one. Months later, I heard he told people my family ganged up on him. Maybe that's what accountability feels like when you aren't used to it. As for me, I kept running. Not dramatically. Not because every run healed me. Some runs sucked. Some made me cry. Some made me miss Owen so much I had to stop and breathe. But I kept going. Dad started running too. Short runs. 3 mornings a week. He's 61 with a bad hip. He never explains why. He doesn't need to. Mom still makes casseroles. Grief casserole. Rainy day casserole. Too much zucchini casserole. Leah and I got closer. One Sunday, we watched old race videos of Owen. In one clip, he tripped near mile 2 and face-planted in front of dozens of people. Leah laughed so hard wine came out of her nose. I laughed too. Owen would have loved that. My medal hangs beside his now. His says 2022. Mine says 2025. 3 years apart. Close together. Kind of like us. Sometimes I miss who I thought Ryan was. Not who he actually was, because those are different people. He loved me when grief was quiet, when it stayed convenient, when it didn't ask him to stand outside for 4 hours. But grief is inconvenient. Love isn't supposed to be. Ryan wanted the woman I used to be, the woman before hospitals, before funeral clothes, before marathon alarms at 5 a.m. She's gone. Honestly, she disappeared somewhere around mile 21, and I don't want her back. Leah signed up for a half marathon next spring. We're wearing the memorial shirts again. Owen asked me to run one. Turns out one became many. So that's the story. Call people you love. Tell them you'll show up. Then actually show up.